What is going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Tincup here. Welcome to the Barf. It is
Whoop.
our look at the week that was, so you can prepare for the week that is. And I'm already giggling over here because I completely missed the photo that you shared with me this weekend, which no one's going to be able to see because they're
Nope,
listening, except for those that are
that's right.
watching, but we're not going to share it because it's actually kind of gnarly.
It is a little gnarly.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you fall, and to break your fall, you put your hand out,
So what happened here?
and
Tell me. Because
you
I,
have
I,
a
I
cramp.
actually,
I was taking a nap. And I have a leg cramp on my right leg. So I'm like, all right, let me get up. And as I get up, because I have hardwoods in the office, I slip. My left leg goes out from under me because I was trying to get up to get the cramp done. And so I rushed the cramp, only to then fall. Basically, I fall and I broke my fall, but when I did that, I hyperextended my two left middle fingers,
that is
if you will.
real old people shit.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
is. No doubt.
And
No
so,
doubt. No
wait, so
doubt.
you were napping in the office. I
100%.
didn't miss that. Okay.
Napping, right leg cramps up. So I'm like, okay, I got to, your calf muscle. Everybody has cramps occasionally. Usually it's
Yeah, but I
dehydration
don't
or
think I've
whatever.
ever fallen from a cramp.
Well, don't say never. I hit my head, I hit my
I feel so
arm,
bad.
my
I
leg.
totally missed that. I had a full conversation with you after that photo for
I
four
think I was
days.
concussed. I think I was concussed.
Wow.
Like when I had a car accident in 16, I can remember every second,
Mm.
literally every second of the car accident, like every moment, all the way to the hospital, all the way to them giving me a bunch of shots of whatever the hell
But you
they were
can't
giving me, pain
remember the
medication was.
fall because of your
Huh,
cramp.
huh. I can remember the cramp and slipping, and then all of a sudden getting up, getting up.
I just feel bad that I completely missed the photo and what you said.
Ah,
We talked about
no, no,
YouTube Eraser. We talked about all this other
yeah,
shit.
all cool stuff.
I just find out
Dude, it was a
you
trip
could have been
though. Once
dead.
I got up, nah, dude, I've been closer to death. So, but what was trip is my body reacting is after all that stuff happened, I kept going into cramps, like all kinds of cramps. I'm like, what in the hell is going
Have
on?
you ever seen?
Like I
Have you?
couldn't work it out. I'm like, usually you just kind of unlock the cramp. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Have you ever seen the video of, I don't know the guy's name, baseball player from, I think he's from Japan, and they're asking him about he eats bananas, and he's saying
Hmm.
monkey eats bananas, monkeys don't get cramps. But it sounded like he was saying crap. Monkey don't crap. Monkey don't crap. This is what you're reminding
Like,
me of. We'll have to.
no, no, you're supposed to. Well, there was a playoff series with LeBron where he cramped up, and like he couldn't go in. Like his body was convulsing. And it's like this guy's, treats his body really well. Obviously, he's not dehydrated and
Mhm.
all that other stuff, but happens.
Well,
No big
I
deal.
hope I never get it. I've
Yeah,
never
yeah.
really
No,
had cramps, but I'll let you know if I get them.
this difference between a sprain, broken, like nothing's broken. Nothing's broken in my left. It's sprained and like a jam finger. Like,
Hmm.
if you ever jammed
Yeah.
your finger into the wall or something like that, this is just severe. The stress of it is just severe. Yeah, it'll be
Well,
fine.
you
Give it a couple weeks.
you and
Yeah,
you enjoy that.
good thing I'm right.
I'm going to share that Microsoft had another layoffs. Yeah, massive
Dude,
people, right? So we were just talking about, and no, I probably shouldn't talk down about a layoff, but like you said,
no,
company has a
no.
few 100,000 employees or a million, whatever they have, and they have 1,000 people laid off. It's not big news. What I think
No.
is interesting though about this is the amount of the layoffs really isn't, for me, is not what is significant, but it's the larger story around the layoffs. If you look at all of their layoffs that have happened over the last probably half a year or so, a lot of them are shifting from one part of the business of layoffs to hiring in a different part of the business. And I think that's
Hmm.
really what this is again. And I'm not a gamer. I know your boys game. I
Oh
mean, I
yeah,
haven't gamed since Donkey Kong and whatever
yeah.
on the
It didn't change.
Atari.
It didn't change much.
Yeah,
You're
it's
good.
just better graphics. But they're laying off in the gaming area, and they're
Mm,
hiring extensively in the AI area. So I think this is just a shift,
deployment
a redeployment of money, of resources, and hiring into more of its core, which is now going to be obviously AI and some of the other things.
makes sense with their bets with OpenAI and some of the other thing tracks.
It tracks for me.
But hated for the folks that did get nobody likes layoffs,
Of
but
course.
that happens.
Yes.
So let me pitch you this one. OSHA proposes rule to protect workers from extreme heat. A standard that would require employers to provide water and rest breaks when the high heat creates a hazardous work environment. This is at OSHA.gov. You go read all about what they're proposing. I don't hate it,
I don't
but
hate it, but it's kind of like common sense.
well,
Hot, give water, take break.
common sense isn't as common anymore. But I'm wondering what constitutes extreme heat. So like it seems like folks that live like in Arizona or Texas or something, they'd be adjusted to heat. So I couldn't find a temperature guide like when they say extreme or high heat.
Right.
High heat to you and high heat to me, that's different.
It's about
Like it's
85, 86, 90% humidity today, and I'm staying inside.
110
Yeah,
and dry. I mean, like 10% humidity,
your
and not
problem.
a problem.
No, your problem.
So
Not a problem for me.
no. I mean, but like I don't even think that's hot.
Yeah.
Like it's hot when you can't feel your air conditioning when you get in a car for the first 2 minutes. That's hot. That's
Yeah.
hot. But I have
Yeah.
3 Toyotas and their air conditioners are all great.
Yeah.
But what it made me think of is, do the same rules apply to extreme cold that they do with extreme heat? Like I can see the extreme heat. Got it. Totally understand. Makes sense. Again, I think there's got to be some definitions
Mhm.
on what is or isn't extreme heat or high heat, or people will just, without some type of guidelines, anything over 100, done.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. But then it got me thinking about the opposite. Okay, anything below what, 30 degrees, 20 degrees, whatever the thing might be, then you've got to provide breaks, etc.
Yeah.
Like again, if you're dealing with one extreme in heat, probably need to deal with the other extreme. But anyhow, if you want to know more about what they're proposing rule wise with OSHA, take a look at that. That's at OSHA.gov.
All right. Our friends at Tractor Supply,
Mm-hmm.
they, over the last couple of years, they've done some crazy things. They've
Yeah.
made news. This is really interesting, and I'm not sure. When I first read it, when I first read the news about this, my initial thought was WTF? Like, what's going on with people? But then I thought, okay, it makes sense from a business perspective for them. And let me explain what I'm talking about. So Tractor Supply slashes all DEI and Pride support. Okay. On the surface, looks horrible. It's still, after reading it and researching it a bit, it's still not sitting well with me. Okay. However,
Right.
the story behind this, that they say they're going to be focused on being a good neighbor, right? So they brought State Farm in for consulting. They're going to be a good neighbor. Here's the scoop though. So they're eliminating all of its diversity, its equity and inclusion roles, withdrawing its carbon emission goals, and ending support for pride events and voting efforts, and seizing data sharing with LGBTQ plus
Mm-hmm.
advocacy groups, the Human Rights Campaign. So if I just say that to you, what's your first thought?
Well, the first thought started is they're playing to their base.
Mm-hmm.
So they believe in rural American priorities,
Yep.
such as education, animal welfare, their veteran causes, and things like that. So
Right.
I think, I really think, okay, because you go out in rural, pick rural anywhere. Like we'll
It's
talk about
all
Texas
the
and
same.
Pennsylvania, but yeah, it is.
It's all the
Quite
same.
frankly,
I get from where I live to maybe 5 miles. 5 miles
right,
north of me, very, very
yeah,
different. It's very,
right.
very like it is
So
a new
you
extreme.
go out to a Tractor Supply out there. There was a program. I'm not sure they still do it in Texas, but there was a program there for a while because we have a wild hog problem down here. That if you brought in an ear from the hog, they'd give you like a $5 gift card or some bit. So like these
Oh,
dudes are out killing. They're up in helicopters just
oh
killing
God.
hogs with ARs, and so they're just going down there and sawing off an ear and going into Tractor Supply and getting discounts. Okay.
You shared the hog stories with me over the years. Yeah, we're
Oh
just
yeah.
going hog hunting. Like I'm okay. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
different for me. We
They're
don't have
rats.
that. We don't have that.
They're
But the
rats.
fact that you
Yo.
saw the ear, bring
Oh
it in
yeah.
to
No,
get
they
a
saw them off.
coupon. That's
You
like,
just bring out your
yeah.
you bring out your knife.
Hmm.
You put it in a little satchel.
Yeah. I,
Go to Tractor Supply. Now again, I'm not sure if they still do it, but here's the deal. I think out in rural America, I think what you have is a backlash, a real legitimate
mhm.
backlash to wokeness.
Yeah.
So all the things that if progressives were to line up all the things that we've made some advancements on over the last 10 years, rural America is not there.
No. Mm-mm.
They're not there at all.
No.
So I think this, for me, it represents a division, farthering a division between conservatives and liberals. It's
Yep.
very conservative out in rural America. And I believe what TSC is doing is they're hiding behind customers' belief systems.
Yeah.
So the question back to you is that pandering or is it smart business?
It's both. It's both, and it's. I mean, ultimately, I guess it's smart business. Um, Otherwise, they're probably not going to have a business. This is. I mean, it's.
Correct.
I don't know this to be true, but I'm going to say probably well north of 50% of their business is all rural.
Oh,
Like, there's a couple in the
oh,
city,
more,
like random spots, but I don't think
yeah.
that's their base for sure.
No, majority of those folks are out. And again, you just get out into rural
Hmm.
America. We'll just leave it at that. And the politics change. And I'm not just talking about the politics, but like the idea of like gender reassignment.
Right.
Like you throw that out in the city, any major city, and you know there's great discourse.
Yeah.
You throw that out in a 5,000 person town in anywhere in America,
No,
yeah,
not
that
happening.
just doesn't play.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
I'm not suggesting that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that that's what it is. So now I've got one for you. Are you ready?
I don't have a choice, but I'm gonna go with yes, I'm
Yes, you
ready.
do. Because this is local.
Uh-oh.
This is local. I found for you that's
Oh
local.
no.
Unions filed a lawsuit against Philadelphia for mandating that full-time city workers return to the office. RTO. Mayor Sherelle Parker, hopefully I got that correctly, announced in May that city employees must return working in the office July 15th.
Wow.
It's 8 days from now. That's foxbusiness.com, so you go ahead and take a look at that. So when I first read about it, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of surprised that I haven't seen more union activity around RTO.
Hmm.
So this is like one of the first ones I can remember. I'm sure there's been others. But my first thought is that, well, if you have a desk job, like at the DMV, you know, you're taking people's driver's license, you're giving people's driver's license, okay, then you probably need to be there. So that's a return to
Hmm.
office, I guess. But the second thought was, well, all these functions functioned in some way or another during COVID. So how did it work during COVID, and why can't it still work that way now? Like, is this really just a thing of like getting all these, you know,
Hmm.
government city employees back into these monstrosity offices, etc.? Or is it like they did it during COVID? They weren't in that office during COVID. So, what's your take? This is
I,
local-ish
when you
to
first
you.
said union, I was thinking soccer. right? That's what I
Of
thought. And
course.
then
Like what you did
as you
there?
got kind of halfway through, I'm like, union. Oh, unions.
Union, union,
You know,
union.
go back to the office.
Yeah.
I
City
mean, like,
employees.
stop bitching. Honestly, like, go,
You-
like, if you can go any, I get it. I don't work in an office, so I can say that. And I probably wouldn't take a
Right.
job that I had to go because I'd have to buy new clothes, right? I literally have to change my schedule. My life is now built, but I've been doing this for well over
A
10
long
years.
time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it would be a massive redesign of my family life to get
So
there.
if you take a job in this line of thinking, if you take a job with the city,
Hmm.
let's just say a government employee, city government in
Yeah.
this case, municipal. Right? So you take a job to city, and unless you're in the Parks and Rec department where you're going to be out and about running around doing it, or the
Hmm.
water utilities, or some of those jobs that you go
You
around,
need to be there.
other auditing, etc. Other than that, like you take a job with the government,
Hmm.
you're going to go to office. Like there is no
Right.
flexibility.
You're
Okay,
also getting a lot
I don't
of,
hate that.
I mean, look, you're also getting a lot of benefits that others do not get. Access to pensions,
Well,
you've got you got
yes.
all this other stuff that you're getting that I cannot get working somewhere else. So maybe some of those benefits outweigh that situation. That said, yeah, I mean, I think they're going to win. I think it'll be a hybrid environment. I just think that's the way
Yeah.
it is today. I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
change anymore.
All righty.
Yep. All right. So, Greece. This is funny. This is funny for me because I've always been the advocate of the 4-day work week, and then last time
Hmm.
we found the 3-day work week, and now Greece just goes ahead and sticks a dagger right in it and says 6-day work week. Yeah, like okay, so 6-day work week for certain industries, right? Like so some
Right.
this
Right.
isn't everything or everyone. So I don't actually hate this. I think it's gonna. I think it potentially works well for some people. The way, and depending on the job. However, I do think this is the reasoning that they're giving. I do think this is misguided. I don't think this is to rebuild this is strictly to
Base.
rebuild the economy. It's not
Right.
to help the worker, and they're positioning it more
Hmm.
as we're going to give you more access to money, more benefits, more this, more that,
Yeah. Over
more
time.
work over time. Exactly, but it's really to infuse more into the economy and build Greece, which we know has had issues over the last number of years.
3 different
Right.
bailouts. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't hate it for that reason. I hate it for the workers' reason. I still prefer the
Well, they
4 and
don't
3 day.
have to take they don't have to
They
take
don't have to. Correct.
the they don't have to. They're not forced to, but they get paid an extra 40% for overtime.
Right. Right.
So
Well,
again,
this is the same
so they
as
get
RTO
paid
though.
overtime.
Kind of the same as our like if
Right.
I come back to the office and I'm seen and I'm walking around and I'm
Yes.
talking to leadership, does that put me ahead of you who's at home
Yeah.
for an opportunity?
I
Yeah.
100%
If I'm
does.
working 6 days a
100%.
week, yeah.
You're seen as a person that
Yeah.
works. We like people that work. We promote those that work. We promote the folks that do these types of things for sure. I think for me there's a bit in there. First of all, for folks that are listening and watching, BBC.com, go and read the article because it is quite interesting because there's a tax evasion part of this that was fascinating to me that basically they want this to drive growth, economic
Hmm.
growth, but they also want for people to work more so that they pay more in taxes because they don't feel like their people are paying, they're evading taxes. And so it's kind of interesting. There's a dark underbelly to this, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see. First of all, we'll see if it catches on. We'll see if it goes through Europe. It seems like it wouldn't, but because they've had 3 bailouts in the last 20 years,
Hmm.
they need to do something different. Like whatever they've been
Isn't
doing
working.
isn't working.
Right.
So this does seem a bit radical and outside of kind of what France would do, let's say. But I mean, again, they like Germany is legit financially stable.
Hmm.
Greece, not financially
Right.
stable.
And it's
So
volunteer at this point. Like you take it,
it is
and you
volunteer.
get rewarded for it.
Does it impact the tourism, which is tourism is one of
Correct.
their, I think it's the number one industry, and it doesn't affect food service.
Right.
So, all righty. How about this one? Alaska Airlines flight attendants will now get paid for helping you board the plane.
Huh?
An immediate pay bump is no less than 18% and will be 32% on average. This is on quartzqz.com. You can go read the whole story there. So I'm assuming that their bonus structure is based on like on time flights and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And so some of this, it isn't just a base raise. It seems like a bonus raise, but they're going to be paid based on you boarding the plane and getting you
On
boarded
time.
faster on
So this
time.
isn't
So
Jeff or Sally helping me with my bags getting on the plane. It's getting the
no,
plane boarded on time for an on-time departure.
that's
Which
correct.
did you know that
Which
you might be saying that on-time departure doesn't mean you actually take off.
no, it's when the
The
door
door
shuts.
shuts, and then you sit there for an hour.
It's when the door shuts. It's all right. It's on time. It's on time. Door shut.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way because I was boarding a flight on a Monday morning to Orlando, and I was there. I was there early the whole bit. I don't know. I was just kind of listening to music or whatever, and I get up there, and then they were boarding like I don't know 7th or 8th group, and so I was boarding, and they had already shut the door. I'm like, the flight's not supposed to leave for
Yeah.
another 8 minutes. Yeah, we decided to leave early. I'm like, yeah, we didn't. Like, once the door's shut, we can't open it back up. I'm like, yeah. And then, but I got a voucher, and it all worked out in the end. However, that's on-time departure is when the door is
Right.
cabin door is
Right.
shut. So anyhow, 32% is a big number. So I'm really kind of interested to see how this is a 3-year contract with their union.
Mhm.
So I'm interested to see how this plays out over time
Yeah.
with them, but also with other airlines.
Well, if it's the aggregate of everybody at Alaska
Right.
getting their planes to a better departure time, even if you're on the plane and wait, if there's I think it solves a couple of things. One, on time, better travel.
Yeah.
Two, if my experience is better by being on the plane and I'm ready to go, I'm okay with that. Now, if I'm sitting on the plane for an hour, not okay with that,
Not
right? So
okay.
that they'll have to figure all that out. I'm sure they'll be fine. They've been doing this for a long time. So,
Oh, yeah.
all right. So, Microsoft pays up $14 million in California, of all places. Go figure.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
It's a big
Yeah.
number.
So basically what happened here is Microsoft retaliated against California-based employees who used parental leave, disability, pregnancy, and family care leave since 2017 by denying them raises, promotions, and stock awards.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so this plays into, this confirms, I should say, the fear of so many workers. I've always had this fear, but I really didn't care about it because I wasn't planning to be anywhere super long term where at that point in my career. That said, a lot of people are, and they don't take parental leave. They don't take disability, or they're afraid to take their PTO or to go care for a family because they're afraid they're going to be retaliated against, passed up on, and this confirms that. This is the classic, now 14 million, okay, good sum of money, but kind of like the classic corporate slap on the wrist. I mean, it's Microsoft. They have a hell of a lot more than $14 million, and I'm sure this is happening a lot more in the organization and others. And so
I was about to say, why just California? Is it just California employment laws?
I'm guessing that's where it was filed for those people. I don't know, but
Okay.
look, in the end, I think this could have been the example for people to say, we're going to go big. We're going to make an example of Microsoft here. And it's okay for you as an American worker to take your time. You've earned it. You can use it. And you shouldn't have to fear retribution for a raise or a pay, a job promotion or
Right.
anything like that.
Right.
So, anyway, I thought that was
Good
good. I
stuff.
liked it, and good luck to those people. Hopefully, they get some good money.
It's all you,
It's
homie.
all me.
Yeah.
That's all me. I'm not paying attention. All right.
It's okay.
This is why live is always good. Bonusly,
Edited.
yeah, no, maybe. Bonusly launches a performance enablement solution. So what I love about this is that managers are often fixated on team projects, and I think they miss the broader contributions of their employees to push the overall business goals for the organization forward. So I think we've all been in one-sided relationships where, um, whether at work or in your case in love, because I know you're just a lover.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
look, in the end, if employees don't feel valued, they're gonna walk,
Yeah.
right? They're out. And I think,
The first opportunity.
right, something good comes along, they're out. And so Bonusly launches this enablement solution, which is good. I think it gets the employees' good deeds up in front of the managers, and it's not just what they're working on for their individual group, but actually for the business. For example, if I'm working on something that's directly aligned to the business goals of the organization, it may not be aligned to the exact goals of my group at that moment. Now it can be recognized and for it's seen for what it is.
Right.
Yep.
I like it. I like it. I was talking to an ADP executive probably last year, and he had 9 direct reports. And out of the direct reports, he talked to every direct report once a week. And his second level reports, he talked to them once a month. Like that was his schedule, that was his
Mm-hmm.
cadence. And he reached out. How are you doing? How's everything going? Like not about, they did do
Right.
stuff around work, but it wasn't about that. It was about having FaceTime, answering
Get to know
questions,
them.
mentoring, getting to know them, their family, all of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, which I just thought was genius. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the better managers, they do that type of stuff innately. Now he did it systematically,
Mm-hmm.
but they just feel like that's a part of the job is actually reaching out to people and talking to them.
Yeah, and it's on the flip side to that, the employee is heard. They feel valued.
Yeah,
And it's a much
agreed.
different relationship when you see your leader walking through the hallway and you've had a call with that person or you've met with that person 3 weeks ago because they reached
Yeah,
out to you. You're now saying hi to that person. You're no longer afraid to say hi. And that creates a much
right.
different feeling and culture in the office. So,
100%.
are you ready for acquisitions?
Let's do some
Jump
acquisitions.
in.
All right, let me do Monster combining with CareerBuilder.
Yeah.
All right, this is at staffingindustry.com. Things that I did, chalk this up to 2 things that I didn't know. Monster is the 20th largest provider of online advertising in the world with online job advertising revenue. This is 2023 numbers, 211 million.
Yeah.
CareerBuilder is the 21st
Yep.
at 200 million. So last year in revenue, $411 million.
Yeah. So does
I
this
don't know
now
what they're.
position him as 20.5? Mind you.
Well, I mean, they're going to move up the
They're going
list,
up yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because at 411 million, they're going to move up the list
Yeah.
clearly, up to something. There's another note in the bit that I thought was really interesting. Is basically Ronstadt sold off their interest that I think Atlas Group or whatever the group that owns CareerBuilder is going to take that Ronstadt would still have a minority share, but they're going to kind of combine the leadership teams, all that stuff. But a little note in that press thing was branding for the combined businesses will be settled upon in the future. So that got me thinking,
Oh
wait
boy,
a
here
minute.
we go.
Monster Builder, Careerster, Monder. I don't know.
Monster
I mean,
builder.
I so So if you're going to leverage, I mean, first of all, if you're going to leverage those two brands, maybe you don't. Maybe you basically say,
Yeah.
let's bring these two together and create a new boop, boop, whatever that is. Then yeah, pick a name. Doesn't really make a difference. But it's just interesting that they're not trying to figure out branding right now.
Right.
They're basically pulling that $411 million of revenue and seeing how they can grow that.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
mean, look,
what's your take?
I think this is a defensive move for me. I don't see a lot of offense here. I don't even know that there is a lot of offense here. And not that they're bad companies, right? They've been around. They're the
Four,
OGs.
hey, 411 million. Before you go too far down this path, that's off $500 million.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like there's a market for these guys, 100%. Where I think though, and this is what everyone's gonna say. It's like putting two dinosaurs together. They're evolving into something, thinking they're gonna evolve into something more
Yeah,
relevant, and they're not. But you're right. 400 million is 400 million, right? Like
dude.
it is what it
However
is.
you get there,
However you get
that's a
there.
lot of
Right.
money.
Now, will they be innovative? Will they be able to be agile and flexible like these smaller companies that are out there? Maybe not,
Not
but I
sure.
think I'm jaded because of who they are and what I've grown up with, which is Super Bowl ads for both of them, right? Who
Right,
are no
right,
longer
right.
relevant, at least in the eyes of people today. They are because the employers still have you and me in there running talent acquisition.
And they're used
And they're
to,
used
hey,
to
it's a
that.
$300 job. It's a $300 job ad. Done.
Correct. But
Easy to
what are they
do,
going to
easy
do
to
in the future?
place. Done.
I don't know. I hope good
Ooh.
because I mean, look, it'd be nice to
I,
see a win here for these guys and do something really good. They're smart people. They're
I
not
think I
stupid.
think I think merging and then rebranding is probably in the future. So I think the
No.
rebrand, coming out with a different name so that you have the legacy of those two companies and
Right.
names and brands and all that stuff, but you can actually shake off that stuff and come out with something really
Yeah,
innovative.
and they're not too big to
Yeah.
they're big for us. They're not big in the grand scheme of like big companies.
No.
They're not too big to be innovative. And then maybe this is a step towards that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. HIG Growth Partners acquires Mobile Health. This
Okay.
is a significant move for HIG growth. This is a shift towards, and this is something you always talk about, proactive health management,
Hmm.
which I've often found very boring to talk about,
Yep.
but you've somehow
Yep.
made it interesting, probably because I'm getting older. I
No, it's
haven't
important.
cramped up enough to slip and fall,
Yeah.
but getting older, right? So I think the keys to watch here is how well they scale personalized health into the employee wellness and in turn to the employee
Yep.
base for employee wellness, cost reductions, things like that. I think this is a good move. I've read a lot about this. There's been a number of articles out there, so it seems to be pretty positive and well received, and maybe we all get more personalized health and we're happy.
I think it's smart. I mean, anything you can do to help your employees' wellness, whether
Yeah.
financial, mental health, physical health, whatever, anything you can do that helps the well-being of that person comes
Yeah.
back to you.
Yeah.
And so it also comes back to you in the form of cost savings and health
Yeah.
insurance,
Yeah.
which I believe is a driver for a lot of these types of things. Is we want healthy employees because it's the right thing to do. We want healthy employees because our health insurance is less.
Right. Right. Well, yeah,
So
and it's interesting how you say that because I think these topics for me, I'm just gonna use me as an example. They've always been okay. Are you doing it for the health of the employees, like you just said, or are you doing it because it's a business
no,
decision, and on the backside,
it's a business
you're getting a
decision.
20% cut on your insurance
Yeah,
costs?
it's a business
Right.
decision.
But now the result of that is a much happier and healthier employee base.
Fantastic.
And I think
You wouldn't get that if you didn't think of it as a business decision
right,
first.
and I well, I
Like
think
thinking
and there's
about the business as from a moral and
right.
ethical perspective and saying, well, this is just the right way to treat human beings. That's
Oh.
the way a nonprofit thinks.
Well, I think there's
A
people
business
within the
can't think
business
that
though
way.
that does that. Ow.
Yeah.
You hurt your hand again?
It's chewing my finger again.
Oh my
It's in my
God.
laptop. Like, ow, bitch.
You're
That hurts.
you're like the you ever see the thing where it's like different people walk into a wall, like how a
Oh
millennial
yeah,
walks into a wall. That
my shit is
God, hold
swole.
that up for the camera, man. If you're watching
There
this
you
on
go.
camera, oh man, that's a shame, huh? Yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, about 2 3 weeks. Yeah, but it is a little sensitive.
Now
A little
see,
sensitive right
if
now.
you had an employer that cared about your health and mental well-being, you might not have had the cramps. They would have had provided you
Well,
with
yeah.
bananas.
Well, Brian, let me tell you, I sent you a photo, and
That's nasty. Yeah,
you sent me a Chat GPT response.
I was.
So, so clearly, it didn't hit
Uh,
your
all
radar.
right,
Is what what I heard.
so quick story. I totally was having a conversation with ChatGPT at the time, and I
Uh-huh.
missed your photo. I'm so sorry because I feel bad now that I see it.
It looked bad. It looked really, because it's the bruising,
Yeah,
swelling and bruising. I mean, it's just a jam
yeah.
finger. Like for people at home when you're listening to this, like, okay, it's nobody died. It's a jammed finger. It just
The picture you sent though was all black and blue. It looked like my daughters were
the
painting on
bruising.
your hands or some shit.
And
On
when I
on the
see them,
brighter note though, ChatGPT thinks we're pretty badass people, and they've gotten
I
our tongues
know
down pretty
it's
well. It's cool.
crazy. Isn't that
So
crazy?
anyway,
And that's just going to tighten.
it
All right, let
it
me give you
is.
another one. You ready? Phenom, they're locally in
Yeah.
Philadelphia-ish, it enhances employee onboarding with the acquisition of Tidy, TYDY.
Hmm.
This is from our good friends Aptitude Research. That would be Madeline and
Hmm.
Kyle. I think they've got a couple other folks that work with them. But what I find fascinating about this particular acquisition is we've historically put Phenom in the CRM category. And they've clearly moved around that, right? So they probably got an ATS like Avature.
Yeah.
But onboarding is historically the line of demarcation between talent acquisition and HR. So onboarding is the first ish real HR things that happen is critical. And Tidy just so happens to be world class. So I think it's a solid acquisition of Phenom. I also think that it telegraphs that they're going into the enterprise. That, wouldn't surprise us if they have great internal mobility and other types of things around skills. Like it wouldn't shock me if you see a string of either acquisitions or new product
Right.
development that they're going to go and extend themselves into the enterprise.
Right.
But I think it's a great acquisition.
I do as well. You're right. They are local, about 15 minutes from me. So I'm happy to see them do really well, especially when they're local, and a lot of people here in the area work there for them. But I think they're remote,
Right.
right? They're sticking to it. But they've always focused on experience and personalization,
Mm-hmm.
and this
Yep.
enhances that. They really put a focus on this. So this is good. Yeah, congrats to them. Good job.
All right, that ends the BA part of the BARF. Now we are on the R. Let's research. So Ryan, let me pitch this one to you. It's a 2024 U.S. Workforce Trends Report, Organizational Well-Being Report by Gallagher, with data supplied by almost 35. Well, it's actually 3,500 plus participants. If you want to find this report, it's at ajg.com. All right, so the numbers are really cool, confirming a lot of what we already know. Healthcare costs are increasing, turnover is stabilizing. However, one major finding stood out to me. There's five major themes. We'll go through all five of them, go look at the report. But half of companies plan to enhance their HR tech solutions by 2026.
Yeah.
So this 3,500 people. So half, let's just say that all those are different companies, 1,750. So let's say it's just 2,000. That means they're going to enhance their HR. That's going to be a lot of buying.
Mm-hmm.
So what basically I took out of that. Now the other four things are also important. So go take a look at the report, kind of see those things as well. But this is the first time I've seen a stat like this where half the audience says, yeah, we're going to be buying more HR technology by
A lot of buying, a
2026.
lot of funding.
A lot of
Yeah.
buying, a lot of buying, a lot of
Hmm.
funding. So
Which is
anyhow,
good for
kind
us.
of cool. Yeah, organizational well-being report by
All
Gallagher.
right.
Go take a look at it.
Check it out. All right.
Check it
So,
out.
what song is that? Oh God, you just put it in my head, whatever it was, and I can't think of it. Is that a Fergie? Check it
Funk
out.
Star.
I don't know, whatever. Anyway.
No, the Funk Star Rocker. Check it out.
Yeah, there we go.
Funk Star.
All right, National
Okay.
University did an analysis of job posting data for jobs that target AI talent. Now, I'm conflicted on how I feel about this one.
Okay.
Not about their research. I'm sure they did a great job.
Yeah.
But I was under the impression that college degrees didn't
Master's
matter
degree.
anymore.
Huh.
Like I not that they didn't matter.
Not in
I shouldn't say that.
not in certain areas.
Yeah, all this talk around education, secondary skills first, all this stuff, and now we're being told that companies are so more than 3/4 of all the AI job openings that are listed are
Mm-hmm.
giving preference to master's degrees. Mid-level experience is the most sought after, but
Right.
master's degrees is one of the top requirements, whatever that they're looking for, in a mix of other things. Which
Right.
kind of was a little disappointed at that. But the top three skills: technical expertise, of course, strong management experience, and communication skills. Now, I don't want to breeze through communication skills because this isn't like I talk well. This is right. This isn't like, oh, I use it. Who you put on your resume? Great communication and whatever Excel skills or whatever we used to put.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is communicating well. I'm able to take something that's very complex and
Mm-hmm.
oversimplifying it for someone like me that I could understand.
Or the opposite, taking ambiguity and being able to communicate
Exactly.
within ambiguity.
Exactly. So I think those are
Not
the key.
easy.
No, it's not easy. And I think that's
Nothing easy.
where the master's degree comes in, because a lot of master's degrees are in a lot of
Yeah.
those areas around philosophy
I wonder
or
if that's
humanities.
I wonder, yeah. See, I wonder if the master's degree is more technical, like a CS degree
Right.
or engineering or something like that, or data analysis, things like that.
Mhm.
Like, I wonder if it's a hard science, I guess we'll say it that way, or a soft science. But what I find interesting about what you've just said is that also remote work is very limited, 11%.
Yes.
So not only do we want people that have preference,
Mhm.
preference is given to master's degree. We also, a lot of these jobs are going to be remote.
No, in the office. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think we're headed. I honestly, I mean, I know
Huh.
we keep saying the work world
Yeah.
has changed, and it has, but I think I mean, we're through our many shows that we've done. I think
Yeah.
we may see something a little different than what we think happening,
Yeah.
which would be really interesting to figure out in the next 12, 18 months.
Alrighty. All right, let me pitch this research to you. It's using AI at work makes us lonelier and less healthy. This is Harvard Business Review, hbr.org. So you go look at the study there. So this is, to me, this is a management paradigm shift. Whereas good managers will over-index on employee well-being and social cohesion, and bad managers won't care, or worse, they'll over-index on productivity at all costs.
Right.
So I think this is where if you have good company values and training, then it's going to be very important to train your managers to make sure that again, if AI makes you lonelier and less healthier, okay, what do you do as a manager to counteract that? If that's the case, and it's obviously a Harvard Business Review is not going to publish BS, so it is making us lonelier and less healthy. Okay, so what do you do as a manager? You communicate.
Why
You
are they
focus on their
making
well-being.
making us lonelier?
because you're not interacting with other humans. for
I'm
for
just
those
saying.
for those that are introverts that are questioning this right now, like I don't understand. ChatGPT seems to know
Yeah.
me.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't I
understand.
don't consider myself a full introvert, but I
I'm
mean,
definitely an introvert.
I mean, yeah. I guess I just haven't. Yeah, we'll have to come back to that
Okay.
one. Give it a couple years, and we'll see how I feel about it.
All right, you ready?
I'm
I got another one
I'm
for
ready.
you.
Let's do it.
Expedia report finds Americans win the gold medal for taking the fewest vacation days in the world.
That's because they work for Microsoft. See? This is the shit that
It's all
happens.
it all ties together in California specifically. It all ties together. So this is at Expedia.com. Take a look at it. This is their report. It also shows all the other countries, right? So Singapore versus Germany versus France versus whatever. Japan takes about the same days that we do. It's 11 to 12 days off a year. But it's first thing as I'm looking at this research, I'm like, this is a shock to anyone. The American dream. We pride ourselves on hard work, and our identity largely is kind of wrapped up in our jobs and our titles and stuff. So I'm not really shocked. I wasn't really shocked
Mhm.
to find out we were the suckiest in terms of taking our vacation. In this research, but if you go to Expedia.com and you go into their newsroom and type all that stuff out, the title, gold medal, there is a fantastic infographic that shows all the countries, industries, everything. Like it is really, really, really cool. And I hate infographics. So, but take a look at it because
I'm gonna,
I mean, shocking, not shocking. We don't take
yeah, I'm
vacations.
gonna take a look at it. I'm laughing not at you,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you
with
just
you.
explained for us how to go to Expedia and search for it.
Well, they search for the
Yeah,
report.
but you told us to go to the search and type the title.
Well, it's because Expedia, if you don't, you go in there and you search for a flight. You might you might go in there, gold medal in the flights. It's like they're gonna give you a different thing. That's a different
Oh,
bit. You're gonna have to go to the news
I need to
section.
start drinking
It's at
more
the
of
bottom of the
these.
page.
I need to start drinking because all I
Absolutely.
heard there was, "Here's how you search, little one."
Yeah. Here's the Google box. Yeah, type some
Oh
stuff in.
gosh, why? So I think this one maybe ties into it. So I think the reason why we are not
Mhm.
taking vacations, with
Yeah.
fear
We're
of,
weaving a thread
yeah, well, for
in California in particular.
fear of retribution from Microsoft.
Yep.
Gen X is also experiencing the fear of retirement. So this was a survey that was done through, I forget who, I'll have to go look it up. But the survey shows that 60% of Gen X is worried they will need to work into their late 70s.
They're gonna live to 110. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, but still. And 47% say there's no way they'll reach their retirement goal, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this is interesting, right? So this is probably why we're vacationing less, because we're afraid we're going to get fired, and we just can't afford to. Um,
Boomers had it worse, man.
Well,
They got hammered with a bunch of every time they were
I
about to
think
retire, they got
yeah,
hit with a financial
I think every
crisis.
generation is that, right? I mean, we've been we were
Yeah,
Gen X, right? Yeah, we're both Gen X. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, we've been at,
yeah.
right, 2008 financial crisis. We've been through, a number of the wars and all that crap.
Oh
COVID,
yeah,
right? So all of this hit pretty
fun
hard.
times.
Yeah. Also, which was interesting, they didn't focus, but it was mentioned, the switch to 401ks. And I had to think
Hmm.
about that. This is the switch
Yeah,
from 401ks, or to 401ks, from pensions. So,
yeah. Pensions are too expensive for businesses.
well, of course, yeah, and so this is, we talked about this before, just in trying to come up with this definition of defining work, was
Right.
the relationship between the employer and the employee has changed. That is one of the driving reasons I truly believe it's changed.
I like 401ks versus pensions because pensions ties you there. So
I
again, back,
different
our
times,
grandfathers,
right?
let's
They
say,
wanted that.
right, you're going to stay there for 40 years? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is saw this stat the other day, and it was Bill Gates' wealth versus Steve Ballmer's wealth. And Gates diversified. So he took money out of Microsoft, took his shares out of Microsoft, sold. He also went through a divorce, all that stuff. But Steve Ballmer is actually wealthier than Bill Gates. Now, I'm sure there's probably, you can argue the case, but Steve Ballmer never diversified his Microsoft shares.
Right.
Like, he just kept doubling down. So every time they'd give him more shares, he just kept throwing and buying more shares. So he still has he still has that's what he has outside of the Clippers and things like that. But that's so it's two different strategies. One of them is a diversified strategy.
Right.
One of them's not. Now, if Microsoft would have went down, 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 and then defunct, Steve Ballmer wouldn't have bought the Clippers.
That's right.
So, but I'm not personally. I don't believe in retirement. So, when I hear all this stuff, like, who's looking at retirement? Like, what are you working less? Maybe okay,
Working
cool,
less,
but like,
yeah.
are you? Yeah, but some of that might be, just working like on your own, the way that you want to work. You and I already work the way we want to work.
Right. Yeah, and there's there's people. I mean, I know
What's
a
different?
number of people just in my local neighborhood here. They're retired, but they still work. They don't need to work.
Yeah. Oh, my dad
But
did
they're
that.
just like, I want to drive a school bus, and so they
That's
drive a
right.
school bus 3 days a week, or which God off.
My dad was on the paint crew for this after at the teaching. So on the summers they'd go around paint schools. He drove a bus.
Yeah.
He drove a bus a bunch of different times, and then he got a job one time he was probably in his 70s, and he got a job at Home Depot.
Yeah,
Hey, you see those old men kind of walk around? Yeah. It's just like he was one of those guys. Like, oh yeah, okay, now let me tell you a little bit about that. Yeah.
I'm looking for this nut. Well, let me tell you, there's 7 things you can do. They got more knowledge than fucking YouTube.
that was my dad. He loved it too.
Oh God, yeah. Not looking for. I shouldn't say that, because even if I had the opportunity to retire now, I mean, I'm too young now, but even in 15, 20 years, like,
I'd have some toys.
yeah, I still have to do something. I'd have to be active. We're just very different than our parents. Well, good luck. Go retire.
All right, let me pitch you the last research that we have here. So ADP, National Employment Report, private sector employment increased by 150,000 jobs in June. Annual pay was up 4.9%. That's at adpemploymentreport.com. Always has great research. It's always really, really looked good. So, however, what they don't say in that first statement is job creation among private employers slowed for the third straight month. Turns out inflation is real. Gas prices, as are gas prices. Job growth, or lack thereof, is also real too. I don't think this is a good look for anyone running for office this term. It's just, whenever these things happen, you get blamed as a politician. If it's good, you get the praise. If it's bad,
you're the head coach.
You're the head coach. That's exactly right.
Head coach.
Players don't play. You're the head coach. So I think right now, and this has nothing to do with the debate, I do believe the Republicans are going to win in a landslide and have all three branches of government, because they're already at the Supreme Court. Now it's just a matter of getting the presidency and in Congress. I think they're going to lock it up and be able to steamroll a bunch of things through, because they'll own all three.
Yeah.
And so probably if you're progressive or you're liberal or you're a Democrat, you should probably emotionally and intellectually just go ahead and start focusing on the midterms at this point. Just focus on 2 years from now, 26, and focus on those elections, not these elections.
Just love each other.
These are over. I mean, it's July 7th. They're over.
There's still another debate. Hang tight.
Kamala brings in the governor. Can't remember her name right now. Whitmer. and it's two women at the top of the ticket,
Oh,
I I think you'd see something different
yeah.
because now you've got two women running. I think a lot of people would come out for
I
that.
think so. I think so. That would be interesting.
I, that would be interesting. But right now, Joe Biden running, God love him.
He may croak before the next debate, so this all may be
No,
settled for
it's
us.
unfortunate. Anyhow, so ADP, take a look at. They always put out good
They do.
job
They
growth
do.
and the numbers. So go ahead and take a look at
All
that.
right.
All right, we are to the
Money
funding.
time. All right. We got a lot of money getting tossed around in these parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 140 million USD for Smart HR, which is a Japanese country, Series E, led
Hmm.
by KKR, which is the
Yep.
growth investment arm for Ontario's teachers pension plan. Go figure. All right, so this move, I think, this is interesting for obvious reasons. It's good. I know you're gonna have some thoughts on it.
Hmm.
This is a trend that we've been seeing of cross
Yeah, we've seen a lot
country,
of
yeah,
these.
cross border,
Yeah.
cross country, cross border investments. We've seen it with Deal. We've seen it with our friends at Oyster. Global HR cross border process is
Hmm.
important. It's not easy to manage. And the more that tech becomes incredibly smart at this and able to do it, we're going to see more of this, especially when we get into payrolls and local taxations and all of this stuff. So this is not. I mean, I don't know Smart HR, and their site is in Japanese. You can go look. You can translate it, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
read it in Japanese.
So one of the things I take away with all of these investments that we've seen that are global HR
Hmm.
plays is they're trying to focus a lot of energy on the biggest cost base, which is people,
Yeah.
staff. And the oddity in this particular press release, by the way, this is at TechCrunch.com. So if you want to go read a little bit more about Smart HR and arrays, etc., they don't mention the valuation. And normally when you raise $140 million, it says right after that what the valuation
Right. You,
is.
you would say unicorn.
And so right, because they raised 140 million,
Hmm.
150 million a couple of years
Right.
ago. And now valuation was mentioned, and this one wasn't, which makes me think it was a cram down, that they had run out of money.
Mm.
But there was another odd part of this. KKR, like everybody knows KKR, they make good bets, totally get it, but they have pensions. They had
Right.
actually an employment pension, I think it was Ontario, teachers'
Hmm.
pension that was also in this deal. So I found that also
Yeah.
interesting. But valuation was not mentioned. That was odd. But other than that, anybody that raises 140 million,
Good job.
God
Yeah.
bless them. Yeah,
Either way.
no hate. Creato raises 200 million, reflecting the company's ongoing innovation in the CRM and workflow automation space through its AI-powered no-code platform. This is at Creato. That's CREATIO.com. So basically, what this does is it makes workflow creation and modification easier. So people don't have to code. They want to actually change a process or change a workflow. They don't have to know the code of how to do that. And that's why when it says a no code platform, like you and I can do it without learning how to actually make those
Yeah.
changes. You can work in that and it'll change. Let's say we're doing something and it's the underpinnings are in UKG.
Hmm.
Well, we can actually make the changes and it'll change it in UKG or Oracle or Workday or whatever. Yeah, very cool company, very cool tech. It just makes workflow creation
Yep.
easier. So good for them. $200 million.
Big. All right. Our friends over at WorkTech, Mr. George Rock
Mm-hmm.
released, and he's got an upcoming webinar to run through all
Yeah.
this. So H1 WorkTech investment reached $2.2 billion across 114 deals in H1 2024. So that's pretty big. That's a lot.
It's a lot of
That's a
numbers.
lot of numbers. I wish I had some of that. So it's up 43% over H2 of last year, which is very good. That's good news. So two things here. Sustainability of investments. Is this a temporary rebound or will this continue? And what's the impact on innovation? So a lot of tools, and this is be curious to get your thoughts here, and maybe George can chime in at some point too. But what's the impact here on innovation? So there's so many tools that are on the market. A lot of them are the same thing with different colors, right?
Right.
There's 50 of this, there's 100 of that. I feel like adoption is going to be impacted if these tools being pushed out are no good. They just suck. And so there's a lot of hype around all of this great stuff in HR tech that's happening.
Yeah.
They're going to fall off, right? We get it. Like there's 50, 48 fall off. Got it. Or they get absorbed somewhere else. But what does that do for innovation? Is everyone going to be doing the same thing and who's just going to get there quicker? Or are they actually pushing themselves and are they going to do something different?
So I think, first of all, the little fish typically are the ones that innovate.
Yeah.
And so either they grow, and then they become a medium-sized fish,
Right.
and then grow,
Or they just get eaten up.
and then become a big fish, or they become, that's that. It's outsourced R&D. So if you look at it and you think of it as outsourced R&D,
It all makes sense.
It all makes sense. Now, what doesn't make sense is why it says H1 and H2 and not Q1. Like, what's H1
Half
mean?
one of the year, first half of the year.
First half of the year. Huh. Okay.
I thought you don't know that?
Okay. I think I did, but it was just throwing me off because I was thinking Q1
Oh, got it.
and
Got it.
Q2.
Got it. Got it.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
but
It's
I
kind of
think
like
with
extra
adoption, that's
time
why.
in soccer for me.
Yeah, well, plus 6. Watch some good
I
football
don't
this
get that
weekend.
at all.
All right, so one of the other things, that's why you saw like the importance of SAP acquiring WalkMe
Right.
is an adoption, tool platform, is because they're going to weave that into all of SAP,
Right.
all of SuccessFactors,
Everything.
so that they can get everything, so they can get more usage out of the stuff that they're already developed, and then develop new things, but with the intent of integrating WalkMe in from the very, very, very beginning.
Yeah. And I think what you said there, I don't want to let it. I know we throw that conversation away because we talk about it all the time, but it's outsourced R&D. And
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way for people to understand that want to or try to follow this stuff is that this is outsourced R&D. And there could be 100 companies out there that are this big, they're tiny. They're doing it. They're going to get it done. They're going to end up somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no worries. Not all salmon make it up the river.
Unless they hit my hook. Then
That would be fun fishing. I would dig that. Go to Alaska.
Salmon fishing. Oh, I've never been to Alaska, but I'll tell you what, we'll do a live show in Alaska with Sarah Palin. She'll bring us out there.
It sounds like a retreat. That's a corporate retreat to me. All right, so this is a company called People, P-E-P-U-L, secures $4 million as it evolves into a dynamic, positive social app specifically catering to career development and job opportunities. So startupstorymedia.com has a great article on this. I looked at this app, and it is, and the website, all that stuff, it's clean. And it's really cool because it's geared towards Gen Z and a way for them to share, learn, and apply. So like you're talking about, or we were talking about CareerBuilder and Monster and how they're going to innovate.
Yeah.
Well, you look no further than this company right here, because they've already got an app for that. So Gen Z can just, and again, where it says positive social app, there's no foul language. You can't be mean. There's none of that stuff. Like they'll just DQ you. So like I looked in that because it's basically no cursing, no this, no that. Like any of that stuff that you see in the YouTube comments, they just DQ you. You just
Did you get DQ'd already?
No, because I didn't do anything. I just looked at the app. I would have if I'd commented for sure. But a really clean app. I think it's cool. good way to think of career development, career sharing, and even applying to jobs. So
Right.
good for
No,
them.
congrats to them. And that, my
Have we
friend,
barfed?
is
Have we
it.
barfed?
We
We
have.
feel like we
I
barfed?
feel like I have, yeah. I feel like I have. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna take a nap, and I'm gonna wake up,
As you
and
should.
I'm not gonna trip.
Just
I'm not gonna,
just watch out.
you know,
Just get your bearing before you
I'm
do.
gonna go to church and confess because I just feel awful.
I was more worried about the crap.
But my hand on
Yeah.
the other. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you all so much
100%.
for tuning in and listening. We got a big week coming up, a lot of great stuff, a lot of good episodes and interviews popping out. So make sure you catch that and follow us and do all that great stuff. Until next time.
Thank you.